It's difficult to think of a bike class which has hit tough times as hard and as fast as the 600 class. Not so long ago, a 599cc inline-four sports bike was common as dirt, a proper ubiquitous sight on the roads. They were everywhere. Now the manufacturers have given up building them, no one's buying them. It looks like a class on its way to oblivion, smashed out of existence by the growth of adventure bikes, naked bikes, and the changing tastes of riders. They seem to want something different. But Yamaha has bucked the trend for 2017 with a new R6, complete with full Euro 4 compliance, sweet R1 type styling, an electronic riding aid suite, and proper chassis upgrades as well. Into first gear and off we go down pit lane, following British Supersport champion Taryn McKenzie for a few sighting laps round Circuito de Almeria. It takes me a few laps to get right into the 600 groove. The last few times I've been on track this year I've been on bigger bikes, and I've got out of practice for properly wringing a bike's neck through the gears using all the revs. Once I adjust my ear to the extra 5,000 revs you need on the little Yamaha, it gets much better, and the excellent new quick shifter makes up changes fast and easy. Thrashing up towards 16,000 RPM on the tacho gives swifter progress, but it's still feeling a little bit flat, the R6. Just climbing up the various uphill sections around here at Almeria, there's a lag to proceedings. Just the intake roar takes on that kind of yawning sound you get on a smaller bike when it's in full throttle, but it can't quite keep up, you know. The new brakes are superb, bigger discs, and borrowed from the R1. I don't remember the old ones being poor in any way, you know, but the bigger discs have really added to the power available. There's a new ABS system for 2017, which is a bit controversial amongst some of the racers here and the very fast journalists on the test. They reckon it's getting in the way a bit when they're right on the edge, you know, sort of pushing really hard. You can't switch it off, so unless you're going to pull a fuse out or bypass it by putting straight hoses on, you're kind of stuck with it. I'm not finding any issues with the ABS at all though, and I think for most folk, most of the time, it's going to be fine. As is the rest of the chassis. The new forks feel planted and secure, and there's a real precision about the front end in particular. You find it a lot with 600s, you know, they're really communicative through the front. The suspension it doesn't feel anything amazing particularly, it just gets on with the job of controlling the wheel movement, controlling weight transfer in a fairly seamless fashion. I've had a couple of sessions on the R6 now, so I'm ready for a proper go at the circuit. And luckily for me, Yamaha's broken out the good stuff as well. They've brought along a few bikes with full race Akrapovic exhausts and race kit ECUs. I jump on one of the kit bikes and get ready to rock. The only sort of clue you get is there's no ignition switch and the left hand switch gear is changed, but as soon as you pull out a pit lane it becomes very clear that there's lots of things have changed here. The motor feels completely liberated, far sharper, stronger, lustier, right up through the revs, you know. There's none of those yawning pauses we had on the stock bike up the hills, but it's eager, barking charge right up the hills. And down the big long back straight at Almeria, I could barely get into 5th gear in the stock bike, but we're now well into 6th before hitting the anchors. The difference is incredible. It actually feels a lot like the comparison you'd expect when you're riding a stock bike against a supersport tuning bike in the past. It's quite an extreme change. The clincher for the tune bikes though is a quick shifter. When you add on the kit ECU, you also get an auto blipping downshifter, which is incredible on track. It's just such a laugh. Bang down the box as hard as you like, the ECU just sorts everything out, zings the revs up to match, and together with the slipper clutch in there, it just makes life so much easier. Amazingly, despite the fact there's no chassis mods really, the kit bike feels a lot better in the corners as well. I think they've dumped about 10 kilos of mass, they reckon, from getting rid of the stock exhaust and the catalyst and some minor road bits and pieces here and there, and it's really improved the handling a treat. It's even better on the brakes now, and has an extra sort of level of sort of planted stability mid-bend. It's a proper revelation, and in many ways this kitted bike feels just like the R6 I was hoping to come here and ride. So what do we think of the new R6? It's a shame the engine's a little breathless as stock, but I know that any owner who really needs the extra go will be fitting a pipe and a power commander or doing an ECU reflash anyway. And if you can afford the Brexit boosted 11 grand price tag, you can probably stretch another grand or so for a classy pipe and a fuel map. Those chassis updates are welcome, of course. New front end, bigger forks, bigger discs straight off the R1. The styling looks fantastic, and the electronic aids keep the little Yam right up in the game technology wise. Little things as well, the LED lights, the saucy tail unit, and there's a high quality feel all round it. It just makes me think this bike could easily stay around for another 10 years. An R6 inspired renaissance in the supersport class for the 2020s? Why the hell not?